From a super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes Radio!
What's up, everybody? Well, what?
Why do we have that background?
Oh, look at that. We got background. Wow. You play that piano? Welcome to About Face Radio from the Ashes Radio Show. We got, what was it, Pudgy Doughboy and in One Shot. I'm Hatchet. I'm honored to finally be here with these, I would say fine gentlemen, but I'd be lying.
Hey, I believe honesty.
Yeah, honesty first, you know. But no, it's Shenanigans. And you're not on the screen, dude. You said you would be on. Why am I sitting here? You're killing me. There he is.
Hi, Mom.
We just had an amazing homemade chicken and dumplings.
We're done. Oh, geez.
That I ate, and these guys are too scared to eat because it's too hot.
You got it.
It's too hot.
Dude, I'm an Army guy. I've never had hot food in my life.
Dude, I'm an Army guy too.
I can't eat hot food.
No?
No.
Damn, why didn't you put some ice in it or something?
It'll cool off.
So, I guess we got an amazing show today. We got your old first sergeant coming on.
We do.
And I don't know the full breakdown of what's going on tonight, so I'm kind of out of the loop over here. I don't know why I'm sitting in this.
I feel like we threw you in the deep end pretty
good,
hard.
but I'm good with it.
You're doggy paddling.
Hey, doggy paddle's still swimming, all right? And you know, you were supposed to be on camera. I can't squeeze you in here. You want to sit on my lap?
Always.
Come.
Always. Dude, why do we have your first sergeant on? Is your CO coming too?
I wish. No.
What was your first sergeant and your CO together today when you talked to him?
No.
I thought.
Oh yeah. He it was another community that we knew.
Oh, but not your old CO. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I talked to him for a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I've told you about this, but he's just a badass fucking Army career dude. Talks real well to soldiers, and I thought he could be an amazing addition to our show tonight.
Oh yeah. You guys actually allow officers on this show?
No, in first sergeant.
Yeah, first sergeant. Yeah, but he was talking about CO. Like, what do you?
We have had an officer on too.
We actually do have an officer on our law section.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I didn't even think of that.
He's not just an officer, bro.
Doug, he knows Doug.
Yeah.
He knows Doug O'Connell.
Yeah,
I don't think he likes too much after the last conversation.
Are we really concerning ourselves with who likes each other at this point? I mean, especially after the conversation we just read.
That's true. I probably would have killed myself by now if I concerned myself with stuff like that. Don't worry.
Well, Bern, welcome back. Welcome back to Bernie. Welcome back to Colorado. Glad you're here tonight.
Thank you.
I'm like super glad that you're here tonight. You realize that what do you call it? Ragnar is looking at his phone right now, going, "What the."
I know. I let them know. I let them know it's coming out. No, I've been wanting to come out when you guys first got this fired up. I was in transition to moving to Texas and was like, there's no way I could make it out here before the show's over. Or at least show up like the last 15 minutes. But now, you know what? I'm crashing at your casa this week. Had to come out and make it. I didn't think I'd be sitting in your throne. I figured I'd be in the corner like popping everyone. So what's up?
No, I like when we get guests to come out to do super secret location.
It is a super secret location. I guess I gave it up because I did say kind of roughly where it's at.
But you can say roughly. I mean,
no one will find it.
No, there's a lot of people that know roughly where it is, but nobody knows where it is.
There's the body still in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
You say it's also a dead-end road. So
yeah,
for a few reasons.
Absolutely.
One shot's the name that you earned. It wasn't given.
Oh, hey, check it out. Eric Reed is watching. Steve Valancourt is watching. And Eric Reed says, and I quote, "What is up, fucker?"
What's up, my little burnt string bean?
The background isn't John Legend's house.
I know, seriously, like what is going on with that?
I have no idea why that's there.
And we have a great backdrop.
Yeah.
When we go on our first break, I will work on fixing it.
So I have American flag right here.
You say I'm going to fix it. I'm going to work on fixing it.
If we weren't under 68 tons of steel and mortar and brick, I would probably be getting a text message right now from Phil saying, "Dude, here's how you fix the background."
Right.
But since we're so deep underground, I can't get his text messages. So
it'd still take you like 3 days to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Nathan Hucker, hello. Thanks for being a part of the show. We really appreciate it. Welcome to it, man. Craig Stackowitz is, of course, listening. Is Rob the new intern? Yes, Rob absolutely is. Audio, ? Yes, I'm working on it, Steve. I just sent a picture to our tech person to say, hey, how do I connect these? How do we sound, folks? Obviously, my buddy Steve is a huge audiophile. So I get a text message from him once a week going, I really like your show, but your audio sucks. I'm working on it, Steve.
I know.
I'm working on it.
Is he saying about the actual audio, or is it just because of your voice?
Both. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Like literally. God damn it, Steve Halcourt says.
Again?
Nathan Hucker, sounds good. All right, well, cool.
Yeah, see, we'll go with him.
Stack, sounds normal for you. That hurts, Stack. That hurts a lot. It is. So we have, for those that are not tracking, we actually have 2 interviews this evening. We are going to have Ryan Faulkner? Rusty Faulkner on at 6:15. And we're going to hear all about all of the Article 15s that One Shot got while he was in the military. And all those nasty stories. So get your questions in now. And then at the top of the hour at 7 o'clock after Never Forgotten, we have Raid Skateboards on the show. We've been trying to get them on the show for forever. So Chuck with Raid Skateboards is going to be on the show at the top of the hour.
Man, I grew up skating, but then I got bigger. And when I fell, it was just lawless.
Yeah.
Even though I had motocross stuff's one thing, but skateboarding, Santa Cruz, I mean, that was like the staple.
I think you were there. Sandy has been on a skateboard one time in her life.
I think I've heard this story.
And she broke her wrist.
Yeah. Not glorious for her.
She owns a skateboard, and she was doing great on our street. She was started at Sean's house and made it all the way to the end of the street and got to the end of the street and then fell off and broke her wrist.
She probably hit a pebble that big.
Yep.
And went flying.
We were all cheering her on when at the start. And then when it happened, we were all like, ooh, we're all going to pay for it.
Run inside, go inside.
Kids, go inside, you're grounded.
I think I could probably still do a heel flip. I don't know about 360 flip, but heel flip, that was usually my
Well, I'm glad you're here then to talk to Chuck tonight because I don't even know what a heel flip is. So
you just kick out the heel. That's it. Kick it out and do a little flip.
For those that don't know, if you do your research and start digging your way through YouTube videos, Army YouTube videos, you will see Hatchet snowboarding down a mountain in Breckenridge wearing Army clothes.
That was the Dew Tour.
Yep, the Mountain Dew Tour. You were part of the Mountain Dew
Tour.
Tour.
Who out here snowboards? Who out here brought their gear? Snowboard. Like, we need you to board in your uniform. I'm like, it's fucking freezing. And I freaking did it. Hit some kickers. I still have it saved on my phone. Yeah. I figured I'd never find it again.
You got to really do some digging there, folks, but you can find it.
I know. I was a celebrity for a second. Amazing.
And so some of our listeners have concerns. One of them says, you are far too fat to be on a skateboard, Hatchet.
I know who that is. That's why I said I don't do it anymore. Longboard's one thing. I'll do longboard, but not a normal trick skate. I just.
So One Shot. I know you're busy updating your fucking TikTok and all over there, and I don't mean to interrupt, but the listeners are excited to hear about your Carl moment.
TikTok. He's on Grindr right now.
Yeah, see, why are you swiping right on that picture?
That was a picture of you.
Oh, well, yeah. Got to get promoted somehow.
You're so far away. Ooh, I gotta turn down the volume. You're so far away. I needed to get the comments up. And it takes me longer than you.
Good, I get it, dude. I get it.
We'll do a rotation. After break, you can sit here and interview.
Like a circle jerk.
That's what I like.
Yeah, or Okie Cookie.
You're eating the cookie. You know you'll be last.
Oh yeah, yours is the first.
And actually, I thought I came up with this Private Carl thing, but I thought you were doing Private Carl today.
Was I?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought you were.
I mean, it could be. Yeah, and there's plenty of them.
Okay, I was Googling anyway, but if you found a good one, let's
well, I mean, there's so many things to talk about. I mean, I don't even. Where do we even start? Do you have a good Carl moment? You've had a lot of them. I've seen you have.
I was just thinking about the neighbor we pulled out of the ditch earlier.
Well,
she had a Carl moment.
She was having a Carl moment.
Just to let you know, my neighbor did text me and said that was not who I thought it was. It was who we originally thought it was the neighbor that can jump off a cliff.
What? It was the Tiger King lady?
No.
Oh,
No, not Tiger King lady.
Perfect.
It was the honker.
Oh, I was like, dude, no way.
I would have left it. I mean, which says a lot. I cannot drive by somebody that's stuck and not.
Me neither.
I just can't. Even if I'm like not in the right vehicle. Like the neighbor was stuck a few days ago. I mean, Honda Accord, 5-foot drift. I mean, depth, not like it was buried. And I was like driving by to get fuel for the tractor. And I was like, I can't pull you out in my Durango. I can get through. No, I didn't have straps. I don't have anything in it.
Oh,
So
that's in the truck.
and no. As buried as she was, I wasn't pulling her out.
Oh, really?
No. It was a tractor job. I was like, I'm getting fuel for the tractor. I'll be right back.
I have never come out to the super secret location and been able to like drink a cup of coffee on the way out here. Because by the time you get to the super secret location, like driving down the road. So
yeah.
If it doesn't have a lid or a cap, I can't. You can't.
Oh, I had a car moment that relates to that. When I was a teenager, I freaking it was probably about midnight. We decided to go up in the backwoods where I grew up in the redwoods. Go wheel the truck up and go take gas masks. Yeah, it's probably can't, we can cuss, but I can talk about this. I was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy Jeff wheeled my truck all the way through this crazy storm on top of this freaking mountain. And while we were going up, the hillside was coming off, huge friggin' water flow going across. I'm like, dude, this is barely wide enough to fit a Toyota, like a Jeep. Like it's small, friggin' almost single track. So we get through it barely, slide across. We get up there, we just get torn down, crushing a couple beers. It's about 1 a.m. this time. It's dumping rain, and all the dirt up there is clay. We start coming back. We decide, all right, we're twisted enough. Let's get back to the house. So we start going down this mountain, and we get back to that section. I'm like, dude, we got to ride this high because the road's washed out. And I was like, I think we can do this. It was an 88 Toyota pickup.
Which sounds like an awesome truck, by the way.
It was a good truck, man. That truck went through a lot, and one of them was that night. And as soon as I started going through it, all 4 wheels lost traction. Didn't matter. I was in 4 low, roosting, trying to freaking run up the side of the hill, drifted right off the side of the hill, down the slope, came up to a cliff, and my truck got wedged between 2 trees.
I have heard parts of this story, but not in its entirety.
Yeah, and we're hanging off this, and we're at least 6 miles from my house, and we're hanging off the edge of this freaking hill. Thank God those trees were there. So we're at the point where there's no way to get out. I didn't have a winch. There's no one else there.
You don't have a winch?
No,
I've always
wanted
wanted
a
a
teenager.
winch.
I didn't afford that. I barely could get that truck.
Oh, winch.
A winch. Well, I've
like
had
a winch too.
Yeah, divorced her. But so we get out and realize, screw it, we gotta hike back. Like, we're stuck out here. We're not sleeping in this damn truck. I didn't trust him. He probably tried to touch me. So
what time of day is it? You said it's like 1 in the morning.
It's 1 in the morning, and it's dumping rain, and it's muddy as shit. So we say, screw it, let's hike through it. So we hike all the way back to the house, and we're so blitzed that honestly, no memory of it. I rack out in the room. Morning comes around. Well, later in the morning, Dad breaches my room. Where the fuck is your truck?
Breaches.
And I'm like, it's out in front of the house. He's like, where? Did it get stolen? We're out in the woods. No one comes up here. You're like, no one stole your truck. And I'm looking at my clothes and my boots and just covered in mud. I'm covered in mud. I mean, we just got home and passed out. We were so fucked up. I'm like, oh crap. And it all comes back. I'm like, yeah, see that mountain range? It's on the side of the hill, stuck between 2 trees. Dude, I had 3 neighbors that had huge off-road trucks. Couldn't even get within 30 feet of my truck because it was so jacked up. Friggin' had a tow truck come out there, got barely within seeing distance and started sinking and sliding off the side of the mountain. Was like, screw this, I'm out. I had to go and friggin' ask my neighbor to get his tractor, which 6 miles for an old tractor, that's a long stretch to ask somebody to go and drive their tractor. I slaved for 2 summers for that man. He made it out there, hooked it up, got my truck off the side of the mountain, and I had 2 perfect dents where those trees were. And I slaved for that dude for 2 summers as a kid because I owed him a lot for rescuing that. And my dad kicked the shit out of me for that one. But that was a Carl moment because I'm like, had to explain to him, yeah, we went out there in the middle of a huge storm on a mountain side that was already shearing off and falling off and decided to keep going to go take gas mask bong hits and drink a shit ton of beer underage and then try to come back. And that was a Carl moment for me.
One of my Army buddies who I grew up with, his name is Alex Wilde, and I hope you're listening tonight, Alex. Exact same thing, except in a Jeep. Drove past all these signs that said no trespassing into a farmer's field, similar to a ranch that we are familiar with. Yeah. Very, very similar. Had to open gates and everything. And went down to a few spots. And we were doing donuts in the field, having a great time, and just similar to the river that's on the ranch over there. Buried my Jeep, buried it. Same time of day. Now it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Now I have to walk up to this farmer's house and be like, knock, knock, knock. Hi, how are ya?
We're just routing your property.
I'm stuck in your field. He's like, okay, be out in a second. And that dude
Surprised
comes
he didn't
out.
shoot you with rock salt.
And dude comes out in his farmer boots, and he fired up the tractor, yanked us out, pulled us all the way to the gate, and said, "Don't let me catch you here again." Yes, sir. Not a problem.
That's a nice guy. I'd have shot you with rock salt.
It was
1 a.m. You come banging on my private property.
yeah.
You got shot. Then ask me what the fuck you doing.
One of our listeners says, "I love how Hatchet took over the show and said, fuck it, I'm eating my dinner."
Hey, well, I already ate my dinner because it was too hot for them. And so I was trying to be a team player and help them out so they could eat because they're hungry.
I'm a delicate flower, man. I don't want to burn my mouth.
You are a delicate.
Are you about ready? It's 6:15. Should we bring on the
ready?
All right.
So
So tell us.
you can do it.
No, tell us who the guest is. One shot.
This is former first sergeant, or my former first sergeant, First Sergeant Faulkner. I believe he might have promoted after being that. So, but I'm still going to call him that.
Faulkner?
Faulkner.
Yeah, Faulkner.
Fuck you.
They probably would. At first, I'm just standing and praying to rest.
What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. Been listening to the show for a little bit. It sounds pretty good. You guys are having a good time.
You are a terrible judge of media.
So whenever we bring somebody on, we always ask them, especially if they're a veteran, give a little bit of your veteran story, who you are, when you joined, what you did.
Well, it was a long time ago. So I joined in 1986. Joined Army. Did 25 years. I mean, everywhere from Germany, Fort Campbell, Ranger instructor down the mountains, Pathfinder Company, Korea, Scout Platoon Sergeant over there. And from Korea, that's when I went to Hawaii and I met you. Started off in 121 as a platoon sergeant, got promoted to first sergeant, moved over to 127 for when the deployment started, that first one, 03, 04 time frame. And then got to stay in Bravo Company after the deployment until I got pulled out to run that close quarters stuff for the whole brigade. And then took over the HAC. Got picked up for Sergeant Major in that second deployment to Iraq. Penned while we were over there. Came back, went to the academy, and then I finished out my time. I went to the Asymmetric Warfare Group selection out of the Sergeant Major's Academy and got picked up and finished out there.
You know Ken White?
Yes.
He just leaves it there.
I mean, there was AWG was one of those units where you were either in an AF troop or you were an Iraq troop, and so somebody was always gone. You knew guys, but a lot of times you never got to interact with them, never got to meet them. If they were in a different troop, they were going in and out, and so there was just never any not a whole lot of interaction time with some of the other guys, but you knew everybody, you knew the reputation, you knew what they were doing. But that it was a fun unit.
Got a reputation, all right.
I got lucky after that. After retiring.
That's one of my buddies.
Yes, it is.
I could tell. I was like, is this a bad thing? Or a good thing? I was watching your demeanor. I was like, it's probably.
I love him.
All right. So after 25 years at sea, that means you retired in 2011.
Yeah, it was November 2011, November 30th, 2011.
What have you done since then?
Well, like I said, after that, the AWG job was great because I think you remember me. I loved to teach and I loved to share knowledge. I always wanted my NCOs and soldiers to learn and know as much as they could. Because to me, the Army, it wasn't it was a job. It was a profession. And I mean, if you can know your job and understand it, you could be a lot more adaptive. So you're not keyholed into only having one solution to a problem set. So I always wanted guys to learn and understand. Being an AWG, you got to go to whatever theater, whether there's Afghanistan or Iraq, and you only embedded with units that were having problems. And so when you got embedded with those guys, you just started going out on patrols and missions with them to actually see it firsthand, what they were going through and what their struggles were. So that was great. And having a deep doctrinal background, understanding tactics and doctrine correctly, really gives you a better grasp of some of the solutions that you can employ. So after I got out of AWG, I got picked up by the JET, the Joint Expeditionary Team, who did the same thing that AWG did. All the non-doctrinal problem sets in Afghanistan and Iraq. And so I just went back and forth 4 months into Afghanistan, 4 months out of Afghanistan, down in Kandahar, just going out on missions and patrols with the units working down there.
Cool. I've been there.
You still look like a guy that enjoyed crushing souls and hurting people.
That was just part of the job. That was
Job impression. Well, I think, man, the way you finished out, getting to do that, I think is perfect. When Rob was asking me about you a little bit, I was like, dude, he's the fucking guy who, it didn't matter what you were doing, he's in there doing it with you, and he's probably doing it better and teaching you along the way. But it didn't really matter what it was. Like, you go to the combatives gym, he smashes you there. You go to the weight gym, he smashes you there. You start, shoot, move, and communicating, tactically and technically, and the depth of knowledge is insane. And also not just the depth of knowledge and your ability, it was your way of making it understandable for everybody and then motivating everybody to want to do something no matter how terrible it was. So anyway,
well, thank you. I appreciate it. But to me, that was always that. And I always used to tell the NCOs, this is like, look, being a leader is the easiest thing in the world, because all you got to do is you've got to be what a soldier wants to be. You got to know what they want to know, and you got to have what they want to have, because every soldier, whether they know it or not, they're looking for a role model. They might not even realize it, but everybody's looking and goes, yeah, I want to be like that guy when I grow up. And once they pick that guy, they're going to emulate him. So that's the easy part. The hard part is you always got to be doing the right thing, because if they see you doing the wrong thing, they're going to emulate that too. So you've always got to be, at least in the top, 10% in PT and the top 10% in shooting. And I mean, infantry was a contact sport, so you had to stay in the mix, and being one of those guys that, just stand there with a cup of coffee while everybody does PT. I didn't see how guys could effectively lead like that. It just wasn't my kind of thing,
Well, yeah, you led by example. I mean, that's the difference between a leader to where you're not going to tell anybody to do shit except something that you're willing and have done yourself, and prove that.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's a lot of times in the back of your mind, you're just like, this is the stupidest shit I think I've ever seen in my life. But it's got to be done. So let's just do it.
I feel like the Army puts, the military in general puts lots of things in front of you where you're like, this is the stupidest shit. All right, let's do it. Saddle up.
I've got my MRE spoon. Let's make this happen.
Embrace the suck. All right.
Well, I mean, you remember our Sergeant Major Carl Morgan, right?
Absolutely.
That was to have a leader like that you could go, okay, this is stupid, but I don't need to say anything because I know he already said something. And that's what I wanted to be for my guys, because that's how I felt as a first sergeant. If I knew that we were about to do who the hell came up with this? What are we doing? Is anybody thinking about this? I knew that fight had already been had. So you didn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You knew it had been mitigated to the fullest of its extent,
Absolutely.
Plus, you knew if you did, you'd just be pissing them off even more because they're like, I've already been through this shit. You're like, all right, my bad.
So, what are you up to now? What's retirement days for you, or retirement life look like for you now?
Well, so that was a great thing about the JET job. It was a great transition from military life into civilian life, because for 4 months at a time, you're still working with soldiers, doing what I loved and what you're passionate about and what you're familiar with, and being able to share knowledge and deal with problem sets. And then for 4 months you weren't dealing with it at all, and so you got to explore different things. And I like to hunt, I like to fish. I got 70 acres just a few miles from the house, portable sawmill over there. I do a little bit of lumbering, but I guess the biggest thing I got into was blacksmithing, and started off just blacksmithing. It was very therapeutic to take a piece of metal and get it super hot, just beat the ever living shit out of it. And it was great when it turned out into a shape that you wanted. But and then I started seeing this thing Forged in Fire on TV. So I was like, well, yeah, I can make knives. And so I started trying that, and I've gotten into that, and knives, axes. So do a little bit of everything. But that's probably takes up the majority of my time right now, is the blacksmithing and that.
And I have to say, folks, I think a lot of us, me and Hatchet, were just talking about this before we did the show. There's so many retired veteran people that they get out and they're like, I'm going to do blacksmithing. I have tons of friends. Tons. You got tons, right?
Well, guys that claim they're welders, I'm like, you're drunk.
I see all these blacksmith things, and I'm like, oh, good work, buddy. keep driving on with that. And then I saw shit that you had made, and I was like, oh man, this again, it doesn't matter what it is, he fucking does good at it. And you make some really good looking stuff. I'm impressed.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's I don't know, it's one of those things where there's a lot of misinterpretations of words. Integrity is one of them, and it's like, what do you do when nobody's going to see it? And how much work are you willing to put into something, even if you don't think anybody's going to see it? So I don't know. That's just the way I've always been. I always want to make sure I'm doing the best that I can, whether it's whether I think anybody's going to see it or not, because deep down, what you did and what you didn't do. So, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, it's because you take pride in what you do. I mean, that's if you have that mentality. If you're going to do something, you're going to give it everything. And that's something that people give up when it starts getting hard. They're like, let's get them out, even though they know that it's not.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You want to make it look like somebody gave a shit when they did it. They weren't just trying to get it done.
Absolutely. I also feel like when we get done with something, need to feel like, oh, I just look like shit. I do see a lot of shit on the old socials when people do it. I'm like, wow, you need more practicing.
I was saying, really? I'm one of your blue belts, dude. Do I have to really tell your first time this story? I mean, come on, man. Really? Who's not turning out shit?
You wear your world's worst blue belt.
I very much do. Wow. I ain't hiding shit, man. I'm very clear about it. All right, look, first, Art, there's a very specific reason we brought you on this show. We're looking for the dirt on One Shot here. Come on now. I mean, there I was. He's in the fucking sport shitter. Come on.
You're going to demote him?
Yeah, excuse me. Sorry, Major.
There's I'll tell you, it was and I hate to say it because everybody thinks, I don't know, it becomes cliche, but that was absolutely one of the best group of soldiers that I've ever been with in 25 years. I mean, I can look back and I can pick out a few units, but Bravo Company, that was absolutely one of the best times of my life as far as my military time. It was great being there because I mean, I don't think you were there when I first got there. That company was not in great shape. I mean, it was 60 days before deployment. They changed out the first sergeant and brought me in. They changed out the company commander and brought Al Leth in. And to do that 60 days before deployment, I'm like, okay, so there's problems, huh? we got some issues. So, but I mean, that was the one thing I always, I don't know, I learned about the Army. It doesn't matter what unit you're talking about because all those kids come from the same hometowns. They all go to the same basic training. It's the leaders that make a unit good. If the leaders are good, the soldiers will be good because they want to be good. It's when they've got, poor leadership that they rebel. And I don't know, they just, I used to tell NCOs all the time, you could take this soldier and you go, hey, come here, dickhead. And he'll turn around and he'll see who's talking to him. He'll run over, get it parade rust, go, yeah, what's up, Sergeant? But you take that same soldier and this other NCO says, hey, come here, dickhead. And he'll turn around and look and see who it is and go, hey, Sergeant, you can't call me that. He's telling you there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with him. He's trying to let you know to the best of his ability that you're not doing something right. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
And those are the kind of leaders that units need and that those soldiers will do anything for a leader that will do anything for them. So it's a it's just that relationship you try to find, and that was one of the best groups. And Seth was there at a great time. There was some really good leaders there, and I don't know, it was a good time in the history of the Army because people kind of put some of the dumb stuff on the back burner and was really focused on getting guys trained and ready to go to war, and not focused on a lot of stuff we have been focused on in the past. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's contagious. I mean, when you have a morale like that, I mean, back in the day, hazing, smoking, it's bad. It's like, man, you look at these guys, that was the best time of their lives because of leadership and how contagious it was. It's like they actually cared about them, but they knew when they were getting their ass lit up, it was for a good reason. Just like you said, hey, come here, dickhead. Instead of turning around and be like, yeah, you can't talk to me like that. It's like, yeah, roger that. What do you want? Because they are looking up to you. They are following, leaders by example. But when you have that kind of mentality, it is contagious. I mean, I was a part of a really good unit. You probably won't like me because you guys infantry. I was a cavalry scout. I get it. I know. You guys are like second to us in pretty much everything. It's all right. Wow. Look, I don't know how far away it is, but that's where I'm feeling. Right? I mean, you'll probably hit me, but at least there's not two of you that hit me. We got combat medic over here.
Just finished my chicken.
But no, I mean, it is one of those things where I remember Ironhawk with 3rd ACR. I mean, that unit, just the whole group, we all jive so tight together. I mean, we not just deploy together, but also go out party together, families together. It was such a tight knit family that there was points where, I mean, I was older when I came into the Army, and I had higher ranking NCOs who were like, look, when we're outside of the unit, yeah, we're hanging out, we're drinking, we're talking shit, fine. But when we come back, you got to still respect when I kick the crap out of you and I smoke you. You can't be fucking giving me this lip,
Right.
And it was, I mean, all of our soldiers as well. I mean, it's just the morale was out of this world. And that's one thing that I've been trying to promote. I work for a company, Sunshine Supply. We deal with commercial waterproofing, and my inside group, it's like the morale. Once you're actually taking care of people, it doesn't matter when you have those hard days because it's such a tight-knit family. It's not just a job. Like you were saying, this was your career. This was your passion. So everything you were doing reflected, and the soldiers and everybody, even leadership, see that. And it's contagious. It just keeps going.
Well, it creates an air competition as well, because if you've got the best platoon in the company, the other platoons are struggling to try to keep up. That makes the company better. And then all of a sudden that company looks better than the other companies. Now those other companies are struggling to keep up. So that's the frustrating thing about people who don't. Your sphere of influence will have more of effect than you think, because you can affect 1-2 levels beyond what you feel you can influence, just because other people have to struggle to try to keep up with you. If you're doing the right things and getting those things in. Just curious, where was that unit at? Ironhawk?
Oh, that was at Fort Hood.
Fort Hood. So
yeah,
that's great. That's awesome. In my experience, has been so much. It was always easier to build those tight knit groups when you're overseas, because people can't go home on a 4-day weekend, and that's probably what Fort Hood was like anyway. They're so isolated from the rest of the United States because they're so far away that they probably could just take off on a 4-day weekend and go home. But you get into overseas units and you usually see a little bit tighter knit groups because they're spending even off time together because nobody's picking up and going home on the weekend.
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree.
Right. Well, now Hatchet took up all your time. We got to stay on the schedule here. So
cool.
We always make sure guests get an extra 2 minutes at the end. It's your time to shine. If there's something we glossed over, if there's a question we should have asked you that you think we should have asked you can ask yourself and answer it. It's your 2 minutes. This goes on to every podcast there is, a lot of different social platforms our show goes on to. So tons of soldiers are hearing you inside and outside of the military, or currently serving and veteran. So that's it. It's your 2 minutes.
Well, I guess because what I really thought we were going to talk about was like that transition point between military life and civilian life, and the only thing I would tell guys, because I never had a struggle with this. And I guess it was just because, you know, my work ethic or how I thought I should be as a person. It's like, people tied their identity to their rank. And once you do that, you get out of the Army and nobody cares. So they lose their identity and they really struggle with, you know, life outside the military. So tie your identity to your work ethic or your knowledge base, or, you know, whatever it is that you pride yourself in. Don't tie it to what your duty position was or what your rank was, because you're gonna struggle with that once you get out. Because once you get out, nobody cares, and all they want to know is, hey, what can you do for me, or what have you done for me? And you know, if you tie it to a work ethic, or you tie it to your I don't know, just whatever your passion is, it'll be so much easier for you to make that transition. So I guess that if I was talking to that audience, that's what I would want to tell them, I think.
Awesome. Well,
That's some solid advice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on. We only got.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We only got about 20 minutes left. Yeah, absolutely. And there's one more thing that'll come up tonight. You might want to stick around and hear. So
If it's a skateboarding, it's probably not for me.
it's after that. It's after the skateboarding part's after. I don't see you much as a skateboarder.
Nah, not me. Nope. I'm in a lot of physical stuff, but that's not one of them.
Right. All right. Well, it's good talking to you. Thanks for being on the show.
You take care, Seth. Good talking to you, man.
It's a good meeting.
All right, folks, it's time for a potty break. Go take a piss, go refill your coffee, whatever you got to do. We'll be back in like 2 minutes.
So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Presenting the Best of Fightin' collection, now on home video. Now you can enjoy all your favorite wacky moments from America's senile old granddad.
Well, you know, gay bathhouses and everybody. It's all about round-the-clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
Including sniffing a baby, awkward hugs, numbers are hard,
Go to Joe 30330.
corn pop,
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
racism,
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
stupid troops,
Clap for that, you stupid bastard. You stupid bastard. Stupid bastard.
blank stare. Blank Stare Part 2. Chris is Chuck.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
I just did Chris.
And many more.
Make sure make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear word.
But wait, call within the next 10 minutes and receive a free copy of Kamala's Kooky Cackles.
Goat Slayer one. You sure you don't want to swap?
No, man, you're fine. Only because, hey, Allie, you ready? I see you in there. Let's bring you on. All right, I see she's nodding.
Thug Nasty Alley. What's up?
Hello. What'd you call me?
Thug Nasty Alley.
Ooh, I like that.
How are
Hi,
you?
boys. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, it's snowing here. What? Why? Why do I live in New England? I don't know.
So this morning, Allie, my phone rings and it's One Shot, and that dude's like, he goes, "What's this white shit falling out of the sky right now?" Stop snowing.
It sucks. It sucks. So like, and it's like slushy. It's that weird like snow, rain, slush. It just makes a mess and there's puddles everywhere. But how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Yeah.
Now, Allie, before you get the party started, did you have something you wanted to talk about? Because if you didn't, then I did.
Yeah. So I just came back from dinner and I'm like 3 glasses of sangria in. So I hope the editors are ready for that beep button because I got some shit to say. So over the weekend, I don't know if for those of you who follow me on TikTok, I posted a news release. There was a veteran suicide at the Jamaica Plain VA. I do not have any more details. All I know is that he was in his vehicle. The police responded. A couple mental health experts responded. They tried for hours to de-escalate the situation. And ultimately, the veteran decided it's not worth living anymore. And he took his own life. I don't know who it was. They're not releasing details. I have no information. Today, I get an email from the governor's office saying that our flags are at half staff. And I'm like, oh, in honor of that veteran. No, not in honor of that veteran. In honor of some fucking dead president, Senate guy who nobody knows his name, right? Nobody knows who this guy is. But we're putting our flags at half staff for him. Like, who is he? What did he do? Why aren't we lowering our flags for veterans who take their lives in VA parking lots? Why aren't we lowering the flags for veterans who have tried for years to get help?
On the ground because it's 44 of us a day. 44 of us a day.
Yeah. So what? Why aren't we honoring? Why aren't we bringing attention to this? Doing 22 fucking push-ups a day does nothing. You tell me how 22 push-ups a day has saved a veteran's life. Somebody tell me.
All it does is bring attention to what we have going on.
Okay. But that doesn't help.
To bring attention to it.
Right. That doesn't help. You show me how 22 push-ups a day has ever talked a veteran out of taking their own life.
Nothing that we are doing is stopping this.
No, nothing. And that's why I'm so fucking frustrated and I'm so angry because I get on this platform and I do these stupid videos and I'm in trouble at work every other week and I got people wanting to fire me because for whatever reason, maybe they don't like the information, maybe they don't like my dancing, whatever the fucking problem is. But I feel like if you're not helping, then you're hurting. Shut the fuck up. Let me do these damn videos. Let me educate these veterans because VSOs aren't doing it. Right? I got a guy who called me today. He's in Morristown, New Jersey. He's like, I've been trying for months to get a hold of my VSO. And I'm like, well, your VSO, is he a piece of shit or is he busy? He's like, there's 20,000 veterans and one VSO. Why aren't you doing better, New Jersey? Calling you out. Alabama, Florida, Arizona. You guys are the worst fucking states for veterans benefits. And yet you sit there and they're like, oh, come move here. And we love our VA. You guys do nothing. And I'm calling out the senators and the representatives and the fucking congressmen. Do something. Do something.
Let it go.
No, I'm just going to talk shit. I can't now. She's already on one. I don't want to piss her off anymore.
She's already on a tear, man. You can't make her more mad.
Go ahead. You can't make me any more mad. So just say it. Go ahead. Talk some shit. I got you.
No, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. That's what I was like, let's swap roles. Go on, you sit back over here.
Allie, you look at that. You're intimidating people.
Hey, I'm just saying, when they're doing 22 push-ups, they can't hurt themselves.
That's a good answer. I like that answer too.
You know, when they're doing a positive thing. I hate to say it because I've had more friends than I know kill themselves, but it is a coward, selfish way out. And so for me, I mean, I've been close. I've been there, especially when I went through that stuff a couple years ago. Shit, I wanted to suck start a shotgun.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. We have all been there.
Where I feel like veterans, civilians, they don't think about what they're leaving behind in that wake. Their families, their kids. I mean, you've got stories. I've got stories of veterans themselves, and they're leaving their kids behind. And to me, that is like one of those. It pisses me off because one, I don't want to see him do it, but two, it's like, dude, you selfish friggin' close-minded bastard. Like, if you
there are so many of us that the only reason we are here right now
is our kids,
our children.
True. Yep. And that was the biggest thing. I know I told you that. The only reason I didn't do it was because of my 2 daughters.
I tell you right, full disclosure, and I don't talk about myself at all, but the reason I am still here is my son.
Right.
Hands to God, the reason I am still here and on this radio show and walking this fucking earth is because of my son. Because let me tell you, I have been so close. I have been in the shower with a loaded weapon. Like, why am I here? I just want out.
But those are the things that get me to where I'm twisted on the subject, and that's why I usually try to bite my tongue.
No, that's not twisted. You're exactly right. And we are here. We are sitting in these chairs to say the things that other people will not. You said it, and it's completely accurate. You are right. And other people are on the other end of that microphone right now, and it's coming through their speakers, and they're thinking the same thing that you are, but they will not say it. You're sitting in a chair next to the Lysol can of death, who you just had shoved up your ass.
I did.
And saying the things that others won't. He's into some really kinky shit, Allie.
Right. I mean, everybody's got a kink. We don't kink shame here, boys. But the point is, it's like people are uncomfortable talking about it because we've been like, oh, we can't talk. You can't say the word suicide because if you say the word suicide, it's going to put that idea in their head. No, that's not how it fucking works. If you say, hey, man, are you thinking about suicide? Are you thinking about killing yourself? Like, that's how you get the answers. That's how you have to have an honest conversation. And it is uncomfortable. But you know what's even more uncomfortable? Attending a fucking funeral for your best friend. That's pretty uncomfortable.
What were you going to say, Seth?
I was going to say that, something that I've heard a lot is throughout my veteran circles and veterans I hear from is I hear all sorts of, I didn't because I got kids, or man, I went to a motorcycle relief project therapy week and it saved my life. I went and did horse therapy. It saved my life. I went and did this. I have never once heard, if you guys have, let me know, somebody say, I went to the VA and they saved my life.
Not once. And you never will. Yeah. We have friends who I have tried to drag there, and they're like, nope, not getting committed. You can't do that to me.
I'll do anything but that. But it's not because they haven't been inside the building before.
Nope, yep.
It's because they've been inside the fucking building.
It's just
they've been part of the product or part of the program, the system with them, and it's disturbing.
It is only us. We only have each other. And it's not civilians other people want to help. My buddy Rick Zellen will do anything that he can. Our buddy Jeff Zinnemeister will do anything they can. Our huge supporters. They send me people constantly. Hey man, this guy needs help. This guy needs somebody to talk to. Got you. And I'll do what I can. But we only have each other. That's it.
Yeah, and when you say
there's no one else coming for us.
I know what you mean by this. When you say we only got each other, well, we as veterans are what have all of us other veterans.
Yep.
Right? If your veteran circle is small, fucking reach out and make it big. Okay. Stay in contact with, those from your old units. Stay in contact with other veterans, other law enforcement, other like-minded individuals.
If it's a healthy relationship, like you don't want to go back to that toxic first sergeant, that toxic platoon leader, like fuck those guys. Like stay in contact if it's a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
I actually, on Friday was in HEB wearing the Talk Dirt to Me.
Yeah.
And promoted a military or motorcycle relief project.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Got to give him full experience. Like, dude, I was in a bad place, and man, it's fun, but it was hard. I mean, you remember what I said that after that first night? It was brutal. But yeah, you're right though. I mean, it is one of those things that going to therapy. You're talking to a doc that doesn't have experiences that you've gone through. You're listening to him like you don't understand what I'm actually dealing with. But when you're talking to veterans or somebody that's like-minded that's experienced very similar things, and you talk to them. That's where it starts resonating. Talking to your old first sergeant, the stuff he's going through. He's giving advice to where it actually has validity. And you're like,
to us.
Oh, right. But when you're talking to some dude that went to college and never experienced shit, never had a gun put in his face, and he's like, well, this is how you should handle it. You should disarm yourself and blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, you haven't experienced shit. I'm supposed to take your advice.
Right. But that's like a double-sided coin to that, because I'm in counseling once a week. And my therapist is a civilian. However, she specializes in MST and PTSD, and most of her clients are women. It just so happens because my doctor, I was with her for 6 years and she retired, and she asked this lady, hey, do you want to pick up Allie? And she's like, yep. And so we had a great conversation. Though she is not a veteran, she has shed light and given me so much insight that I didn't know. So she gives me the signs because I want to know the why. Like, I want to know why I'm always ready to fight. I'm not looking for a fight, but I am always ready to fight. Why I choose male dominated careers, why my second job is a profession where I'm going to get into fights. Like, why? Like, even at home, like, why am I so tense? Why do I want to fight? And she opened up, she gave me some insight, and it makes sense. So while she doesn't have experience with gun pointing in her face and, getting the shit beat out of her and all that stuff, she can explain to me why, and the difference between the limbic brain and the lizard brain, and why my mind works that way, and why I'm unable to relax, and why I'm just ready to fucking fight all the time. It's exhausting, right?
Allie, I just wanted to say one thing real quick. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm in the Me Too movement because I do therapy too.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too. Yep. Once a week. I do the Headstrong project. So the Headstrong project, I don't know where folks go and whatnot or what you do, but look up the Headstrong project. Look up Mount Carmel. Look up the Cohen Foundation. You don't have to go to the VA. This whole radio show is about additional resources. Look up the fucking Motorcycle Relief Project.
Yeah.
Look up
Home base. We had the first lady, whatever, but the fact that the first lady came and visited this program, like, it is fantastic. And even though, like, I'm divorced and my ex-husband can, whatever, go kick rocks, I got him into the home base program because he needed it. He's a veteran. He's 4 tours, blown up 3 damn times, retired medically, and suffered through some things. And I got him into the home base program, and he came back and he's like, holy shit, I should have listened to you years ago. Yeah, dude, I get people from all over the country listening to me, and you, my husband, couldn't listen to me. Like, I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you. So, like, if you're in New England, they'll fly people in from anywhere. So the home base program, state of the art, like, it's fantastic. There's so many more programs. Wounded Warrior Project, they have the Odyssey program. Well, they will take, it's either like males only or females only, and they will take you out to anywhere in the country. You're on a ranch or you're at the beach, whatever, for a week, and you do intensive therapy. Like, working on yourself is uncomfortable. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna open up some feelings that you thought that you put away, and I'm doing that now. Like, apparently I have some fucking trauma I didn't know I had. I thought I dealt with it 10 years ago. It's coming up. So it sucks, but in the long run, you're gonna feel better. You're gonna be better. And I hate
you gotta go through that fire. It sucks when you go
have to. You fucking have to go. You have to walk through the coals.
Yeah, you got to face those demons at some point.
And that is the worst part. The actually getting that ball rolling is the hardest part.
So taking the first step is always the hardest. That first step will always be the hardest step you have to take. After that, it's just one leg in front of the other. You'll be all right. But you have to get started. Like, all the time. And you guys, if you follow me, you read my comments or comments that people leave. I get phone calls, I get emails, like, because of your videos, like, I finally have the courage to file. I finally have the courage to reopen that claim. I have the courage, and I'm like, who would have thought that these stupid videos are making a difference? Because it's still hard for me to believe, right? Like, I'm just some fucking blonde-headed VSO from Massachusetts. I never ever thought that people would actually listen to anything I have to say and then actually trust me. People tell me their secrets, things that they don't tell their spouse, things that they don't talk about, they've buried, and they're bringing it to light in hopes that they can get a compensation claim, so they can get the therapy, so they can get into VA healthcare and not pay insurance through the fucking nose because insurance is ridiculous. So there's more benefits than just filing a claim and getting your benefits. Like, you go to healthcare, you free of charge. Go get your healthcare. But anyway, you have to take that first step. You have to walk through the coals. Did you just knife hand me?
I was what you were doing. I was just not for you, but for the people.
Do it. Yes, do it. Get my big old ring. Just fucking do it. But so so go into treatment. And now with the passing of the Compact Act, the final policy of the Compact Act, if you are in mental health crisis, in emergency, you can walk into any VA any hospital, civilian hospital, VA hospital, you do not have to be enrolled in VA healthcare. You walk into the ER and you tell them, I am a veteran. I am in mental health crisis. I'm about to lose my shit. You get 30 days of inpatient, 90 days of outpatient. You get the help you need. There is no longer an excuse. There's no longer, oh, I have, my nearest hospital, my nearest VA is like 4 hours away. Okay, but you have a civilian hospital that's half an hour away. Go.
But don't they have to actually support that? Because it's not every hospital that does.
No, it's everything.
Every single
Every hospital. Yep. As of January 17th. I don't know how they're going to implement it, but it is now law. As of January 17th, any hospital, you identify yourself as a civilian and you are in mental health crisis, they are supposed to treat you.
Oh, that's good stuff.
And I've been getting text messages from people asking about it. So, Allie, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. That's what I do. And then lastly, I want to talk briefly about secondaries. If you guys have a service-connected disability and something else happened because of that disability, because of that injury or illness, you can claim your secondaries, okay? Let's say, you fell out of the Chinook and you broke your leg and you had to relearn how to walk. It happened. You had to learn how to walk, and so your right leg is compensated, your ankle, your knee, your hips. But then because you had to learn how to re-walk, you overcompensated, and now you're walking on your left leg. Now your left hip is out of place and your knee is shot, and now you have scoliosis because your spine is out of whack. Everything that has stemmed from that initial injury is a secondary, and it is claimable. You had prostate cancer, and now you have like hemorrhoids, and you have erectile dysfunction.
How did you know?
It happens. Listen, I hear it all. I hear it all. And I love when like these young bucks come in, right? And they're all like, I was a Marine. And I'm like, okay, good for you. And so I'll ask, I'll start with your feet and I work all the way up, and then I'll get into illnesses, right? And then I'm like, any problem getting or maintaining an erection? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, because if there is, the special compensation. Well, I can't. I'm like,
But remember last time Bernie was on the show and he's like,
yeah. Yeah. So,
sure, all right.
Yeah. So listen, I don't know if, and like, it's like, I don't know if men are just embarrassed because like to talk about it, or if it's because it's me or whatever. But listen, there is nothing you can say, like nothing that will shock me or nothing. Like, I need you guys to be honest with your VSOs. Like, trust. I mean, you can tell if it's a good VSO or not. But like, you need to disclose this stuff because there are secondaries that you can get compensated for. If you had your testes removed due to cancer and injury, that's loss of a reproductive organ. Ladies, if you had a hysterectomy, your ovaries removed, that's loss of a reproductive organ that you can get, compensated for. Cancers, breast cancers, any type of lymphomas are now covered under the PACT Act if you have a deployment to Southwest Asia. Hemorrhoids, your scars, right? Like you tingling in the fingers, radiculopathy. There's tons of stuff that you guys are leaving out that you're like, oh, I didn't know I could get compensated for that. Any secondary. But the thing is, though, it has to be, your primary has to already be rated. Okay, you already have to be receiving a service-connected disability for the primary to gain your secondary. But think about it. Like, you can, you have post-traumatic stress. You go on steroids or whatever. You gained 50 fucking pounds from the steroids. Now you have sleep apnea. Get a Nexus letter from your doctor saying that these meds have caused weight gain and now you can't breathe at night. Like, these are secondaries, you guys.
One shot had a manscaping accident.
Manscaping accident. Okay. So you have post-traumatic stress, which means you have a sex addiction, which means you were going to get a hooker. And so you were shaving for it, and boom, there it is.
This is why she's in the so.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Allie. Well, we're up on time. So thanks for coming on.
Anytime, you guys.
How about Monday?
How about every Monday from about 6:45 to 6:50?
Yeah, so like you guys only give me 5 minutes. I'm kind of pissed.
Well, you never.
Yeah, when have you ever stuck to 5 minutes? What are you saying?
I have a lot to say. We need to reprogram the show. Like, give me more than 5 minutes because we got O'Connell Law over there, and they're like, "What the hell? Can I get on?"
Yes. Well, how about we start the Allie show?
Oh wait, that might be a little bit much.
Wait, I'm game. I'm in.
All right, done.
All
All
right.
right. Hey, we'll see you next week, Allie.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Bye. Best part of the show. Far and away, best
Allie
part of
did
the
on
show.
with a little bit of wine.
I would love to give her her own show, but there would be no reason for people to listen to this show.
Well,
What? I mean, there's no other reason. Do you want to read this, or you want me to?
oh, you'll do this one. So
Okay.
At this portion of the show, we always do our Never Forgotten, and today Rob's gonna read that off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So bow your heads a little bit. Give us a listen. Gregory Rundle, 21, of North St. Paul, was killed early Wednesday while manning a guard tower in Iraq. 21-year-old Rundle was an Army specialist operating with a Stryker Brigade combat team. He had been serving in Iraq for 3 months when he was killed by small arms fire. About 24 family members gathered at the National Guard Armory in East St. Paul to remember him on Thursday night. They held each other and cried while taking turns speaking into the microphone. His mother, Joanne Richardson, read a letter Rundle had written to her while she was still in basic training. Some must sacrifice their freedom for others to live free. Some must sacrifice their lives in order for others to live free. I train now to stand ready to help those I did not get a chance to do before. I will be able to guard people from harm from others that I did not get a chance to do before. Please do not shed a tear if anything happens to me, and don't worry. I don't want tears of loss, but tears of happiness of what I was able to do. It says, love, Private Gregory Rundle. Joanne Richardson read to those that had gathered in front of her. Rundle graduated from North St. Paul High School in 2004, joined the Army in 2005. Family members said he planned to go to college after the Army and become a police officer in the Twin Cities. And this article is from 2008. Ladies and gentlemen, please, tonight, when you bow your heads and you lower your heads and you tuck your kids in, please remember Private Gregory Rundle and think of his family and keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. If you have someone that you would like for us to remember, as you have already been doing, please send them to From the Ashes. And we would like to remember those that you cared about and those that you loved. Hey, we're going to take a quick 2-minute piss break. Please remember those names. And we'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to have Chuck with Raid Skateboards, and we're going to talk about some badass shit right now. So go take a piss, folks.
Okay, done. I will.
My hip.
What a beautiful morning.
No, he wasn't on himself, but
I'll beat that piece of shit.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment of the United States of America's Constitution. This Second Amendment, the right of law-abiding Americans to privately own and possess firearms, is under attack like no other time in America's history. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have pledged to take away your Second Amendment rights through gun bans, gun confiscations, and government regulations. Even a gun...
You're finally back at her place for a little brown chicken brown cow when you get hit with love potion number 2.
Are you okay?
You skipped the loo before that keister kangaroo jumps out of its pouch. Now, what do you do?
Hurry up, come on. Come on, I'm on a date. This isn't happening right now.
You let that badonka-donk honka-honk and strike a match in the hopes you won't strike out. But alas, your chance of date number 2 just went up in flames.
Are you okay? Do you have insurance? Just wondering.
It smells like burnt hair and blue cheese.
I got it.
Are you positive?
Don't worry about it.
Are you sure you're okay? You there?
You drop trow and give it your all like it's a one-shite stand.
I want to be single forever. Oh, no.
You fill the air.
What a beautiful morning.
All right, folks. So I've been waiting for this interview for a long time. It's only appropriate that Hatchet happens to be here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us talk to Chuck from Raid Skateboards.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, man? How are you?
Solid, dude. Solid. How you guys doing?
Welcome to From the Ashes Radio. I've been waiting for this for a very, very long time. So I'm so glad you're here.
Stoked to be here, man. Yeah, we've been talking for a minute to get this set up.
Yes, very glad you're here. Very glad you're here. Hey, start us at the beginning. So what branch of service were you? Tell me a little bit about your military history to start.
So, as a young whippersnapper, I knew I was going to join the military after 9/11. I was 16 when it happened, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. After a bunch of conversations with my mom's now ex-husband, who was my stepdad at the time, I ended up joining the Coast Guard in 2003. Spent some time in Alaska on a cutter as a surface swimmer, and then I went to A school for gunner's mate, which is like gun stuff. If you're familiar with the Navy or the Coast Guard, then it's just basically like armor stuff. And at the time, they were coming out with these new units called, they were called Maritime Safety Security Teams. And I was like, that's the shit I want to do. That shit sounds cool as fuck. So I ended up at a MISS team down in Georgia and on a boat crew as a 240 gunner. And then we had like an in-house little tryout selection thing for the physical. They call it the Force Protection Team. They're now called Direct Action Sections, but it's basically like high risk VBSS stuff. And made it through that. Went to the pipeline training, did that for another 4 years, got out and became a contractor for a while, and now I make skateboards. That's the quick and dirty version.
So were you like a skateboarder as like a teenager, or?
Oh yeah, man, for sure. I grew up in Southern California, so surfing and skateboarding has always been kind of part of my part of who I am.
Like, fuck SoCal, NorCal, bud.
Don't get me wrong. I have love for NorCal. I love the mountains and trees. You guys have those green shit that come out of the ground. I don't have that down here.
Yeah, but you had what was it? What was that? They made a movie about it. It was down in your neck of the woods, Lords of.
Oh, Lords of Dogtown. Yeah,
Dogtown,
yeah. Those are like the triple OG skateboarders. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, Rob, how did you find a way to get two Californians on the show at the same time?
Dude, this is karma. This is karma. Biggest way right now.
Not karma, it's destiny.
It is definitely destiny.
So,
absolutely.
Skateboards. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the whole idea started along probably back in like 2018, I think. I in a group chat with some of my homies, and we were talking, just kind of like reminiscing about, deployments and shit like that, and how he's talking about, yeah, you remember how like you'd be deployed or be somewhere, you're like, dude, I can't wait to get back home and to surf and to skate, blah blah blah. And I have a background in graphic design. I went to school on the GI Bill for graphic design, and realized that I hated it and never worked in that industry more than 2 months. But I like creating stuff. I like art, and I always wanted to design a skateboard since I grew up skateboarding, and I continue to skateboard till this day. And so I come up with this design. The if you've ever seen the pink Mark 18 deck, that was our very first design. And so I was kind of playing with the idea of it. And when me and the homies were chopping it up about it, I decided yeah, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna just put this out as like a pet project. Like, I wasn't intending to make a skateboard company or anything. It was just something that I thought was cool that people would enjoy. So I made 25 boards, released them. I posted about them on Instagram. And what's funny is I hadn't told anybody publicly yet because I didn't have the decks. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I just found some random company out of LA that like did custom skateboards, and I paid way more than I should have for them. But I was like, this is cool. This works. And another friend of mine was like, dude, you gotta post about these skateboards because somebody else is gonna do it before you. And I was like, I already have them being made. Like, who's gonna beat me to this? Nobody's talked about this yet, you know. And I haven't put it out there because I know there's a lot of people that'll like see a good idea. I'm like, oh, I'll execute that first, and then now you're shit out. So he was like, no, just trust me, just do it. And I was like, all right, fine. So I posted about it. People went nuts for it. I had no idea how all these people even saw it, but they saw it and they loved it, and they're like, we want these. And I was like, all right, well, when they're available, I'll let you know. And sure as shit, like the next day I get a package delivered and it's on my skateboard. So I was like, fuck it, let's do this. So I put them up for sale, sold all of them in like a couple minutes, literally. And people were like, we want more. And I was like, all right, well, I'll do a pre-order. Like, I know where to make them now, so I can do this. And within 24 hours, we took pre-orders for over 150 decks. And I was like, all right, hold on, time out. I got to figure this shit out. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing, you know? And that was the beginning of the brand itself. And then shortly thereafter, we put the mission behind it because it's cool to have a company, but like, I'm a very purpose-driven person, and I love to help people. Like, that's one of my biggest passions, and I always have been in life. Even being a little kid in school, getting in trouble for like helping the kid next to me with their math work, you know. And the teacher's like, "Do your own shit." I'm like, "Fuck you! I'm trying to help them." But so I've always been that way, and so I was like, "Well, how can we like make this not just about like a cool brand that does, you know, has graphics and skateboards? Like, I want to make this about the people, not about me." And so we were joking about the idea of skate therapy, and I was like, well, hold on a second, like that can be legit. Like, there's plenty of scientific evidence out there and data that supports physical fitness and mental health. Why can we not apply that to skateboarding? Like, all that shit applies, you know, cardio, muscle building, muscle memory, all that shit applies. So we just kind of started taking data from physical fitness, swapping out, you know, like weightlifting or running or whatever was applicable to what we're talking about, and applied it to skateboarding, and started pushing the narrative of skate therapy probably back in 2019, and we've been hammering that shit ever since.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing too. Skateboarding. I mean, I've done so many different damn extreme sports. Skateboarding is by far one of the most technical sports out there, and I mean, when you're in something like that, you are 100% focused on what you're doing. You're not thinking about all the other bullshit going on in life. You're just making sure you're actually sticking a trick and not smashing out your teeth.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. 100%. And even just getting something as simple as like just getting on your skateboard, and like, for me, you know, I'm fortunate I have the beach right here. I can just skate down the boardwalk and, you know, for literally miles, and it's fine. But just doing that is therapeutic in its own right. Like, going through shit or whatever, having a hard time, jump on my board and just bang down the boardwalk and listen to some music, and I feel immensely better afterwards, like substantially better. I can't, like, alcohol or drugs wouldn't even come close to how I feel after doing that.
See, for motorcyclists, we call that wind therapy.
I'm right there with you, buddy. I ride a Victory Highball. I'm all about that shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So, do you guys sponsor like upcoming skaters, or how do you guys do any sponsorship on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a team of veterans and non-veterans, and a couple active duty guys as well. You know, because the whole thing, like, we're a veteran-owned company. My business partner was a Marine. My team captain and team manager, they were both Army guys. One of them just retired. And, you know, but it's not like, this isn't, I don't believe in like gatekeeping shit and being like, this is for veterans only. Like, fuck that. Like, if people want to get down, if they're good people and they're cool and they can benefit for this is for everybody. We're not going to deviate from like our themes of veteran, or just, you know, being veterans or being military or military influence at all. And we're not going to like necessarily like just like try and cater towards the civilian market or anything like that. But if somebody can benefit, doesn't matter if they served to us, it doesn't matter if they served or not. Like, obviously we're serving vets, but we'll help anybody, you know, that can benefit from this shit. So we have a mix of veterans, active duty, and civilian guys that skate. And right now, I think I have to look at my roster, but I think we're up to like 13 riders right now.
That's awesome.
So, Chuck, here's what I want to do. I'm going to go tonight after the show. I'm going to buy a couple of decks off of your website, and we're going to give them away on the show because I really believe in what you're doing. You're doing some pretty awesome.
Dude, that's so rad. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're going to make that happen because Seth and I, we were looking at your Instagram, which, by the way, and I'm done talking, please give up your Instagram so people can follow along.
Yeah.
That shit's sick, man. We really, really like your products.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, my our main Instagram is Rage Skateboard, no S at the end of it, because it wasn't available when I tried to create the account initially. And then we got hacked earlier this year, So I was able to get the account back, but I started another one. It's a backup account. It's Raid Skateboards with an S at the end of it.
Very nice. Very
so
cool.
we did have a regular listener ask a question. Do you make any like heavy load bearing decks for guys?
That's hurtful. That's
like
very,
that?
very hurtful. That's not nice.
So all of the decks that we make are like.
Don't remember his shit, Chuck. That shit ain't funny.
I'll tell you why it's funny, because our shit's indestructible. So not literally. I mean, like you can break anything if you try hard enough. I went to breaching school. I know how that shit works. But I mean, we got some of the guys on my team. They're some big dudes. I mean, they're fucking meaty motherfuckers, and they rock the shit out of them. So we have sizes from 8-inch up to 8.5. And so if you have some big ass Sasquatch feet, or you just like fucking pushing big wood, we got you covered.
If I had a nickel, I gotta ask that question.
Should we start a GoFundMe to have him on Phil's skateboard? I mean, I'll throw money in that thing real quick.
I don't need to home and get this. One of our listeners wants to know if you have longboards for 9-year-olds.
We actually are going to be putting out more Longbirds this year. We did a run in 2020 of 50 cal decks, and we've gotten a lot of requests to do them again. So I'm working on a M134 minigun design right now. I'm just not really sold on the colors that I chose.
Okay.
See, I'll still hit a longboard, but you give me like I was saying earlier, I know I can still do a heel flip, 360 flip, we'll see, but board's not as much as I'll attempt to.
Can we run a fundraiser to we get a certain amount of money, Rob rides a skateboard, we get to a certain amount of money, and you try and hit a 360 heel flip?
I feel this I feel this coming.
I do.
I feel a fundraiser
you
coming.
Just drop into a half pipe and we'll do it. I'm done.
I'll drop in anything, man. I ain't scared.
I'll fly out for that shit.
Chuck, so hey man, check it out. First of all, thank you for being on the show. We love having you on the show. Hey, this is your time to shine. We may have skipped over a question. I may have glossed over something that a point you wanted to hit. I may have skipped over something. Take the next 2 minutes. The whole veteran world is listening to you right now. You're on internet radio, so it's worldwide. Hey, take the next 2 minutes and say whatever you want to the world.
Well, I want to say that if anybody's out there going through a hard time, if you're struggling and you've tried things that just aren't working, try skateboarding. I don't give a shit what skateboard. You go buy a Walmart fucking skateboard. Doesn't matter. Just try it. Give it a shot. See how it goes, and try it. I think so many people have had, especially people that are like older than, older than me. I'm 37, but like older people like in their late 50s and 60s. They always seen skateboarding as like had a negative connotation to it because it was like a counterculture. It was, rowdy, punk rock, whatever. That's not necessarily it. I mean, it's gone a lot corporate nowadays, and honestly, it's a good thing because in some regard, it's opened it up to the rest of the world, to people who might not have ever been exposed to it beforehand, and now they can benefit too from, the whole idea of skate therapy. That's the biggest thing. I can't stress that enough. That how important it is to find something. It even doesn't have to be skateboard. It could be anything. We're working on a nonprofit that's extreme sports based, that's not quite ready to go yet, but I mean, it could be anything to get you out of your comfort zone and get you thinking and trying and processing new shit to take your mind off of the bullshit that you're going through, right? I mean, there might be some deeper shit that you got to work through, and that's a whole nother animal, but skateboarding can definitely help. In the community, in the skateboarding industry, or skateboarding world just in general, is immense. I mean, skateboarding is like a subculture. I mean, maybe that's a mainstream culture nowadays, but there's multiple subcultures within skateboarding itself. You got people that ride street, people that skate in parks, people that skate vert, old school skaters, technical skaters, like all these different categories, but everybody has each other's back. You know what I mean? You could roll up to a skate park, and if some, kid is getting picked on by some bullies that aren't skating, a bunch of skaters will have that kid's back, and the same thing for the veteran community. I mean, I've seen nothing but love for the veteran skate community. I got nothing but love for those guys. A lot of them are my friends that own other companies and stuff. I mean, it's just been one of those things where you never knew what you were getting into until you're into it and you're like, holy shit, this is dope, And so I just would encourage everybody to, if it's not skateboarding, find something that, you can do that's your thing, that it's your outlet, and and just dive into it full force. Like, fuck what everybody thinks, fuck what they say, doesn't matter. Do you. And for me, it's skateboarding. And for a lot of people, it's skateboarding.
Cool. Excellent. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Chuck from Raid Skateboards. Chuck, thank you so much for being a part of From the Ashes.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it, man. We will see you on the other side. And
Right on.
thanks for being up on the show, man.
Right on. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, folks, it's time to hang it up. We went a little over tonight, but that's okay because it was important conversations to have. Hey, you can catch us tomorrow morning after 9 a.m. on all your favorite podcast platforms, and we'll be sharing this with the rest of the world. So thank you for being a part of From the Ashes, and hey, keep us in mind. Love you all.